All right, what's up, guys? Back here on Southeastern 14 with Max Barr. We continue a look at all the SEC basketball transfers in the offseason as we head into the 24-25 season. And we're going to play catch-up on a couple from Alabama. I know one of them happened a month ago. One of them happened a little bit more recently. But as we said, we are doing videos on every transfer in SEC basketball. So sometimes we will have to combine some together and play catch-up, especially when there's a transfer going on during tournament season. As there was with Houston Mallette. But we'll get to it here shortly. But first, let me tell you about our friends at BetOnline. As always, a great resource for you guys to check out everything they've got there, the latest news, odds that you need for all these summer sports, MLB, golf, NBA, NHL. They've got it all there, and you can get those latest odds and lines, player props, odds on just about every single sport out there. You can find it on the website at BetOnline, or you can use your mobile device to get in on the action. BetOnline, where the game starts. All right, let's backtrack a little bit, Max.
Yep.
Let's go back to Houston Mallette, who, as we said, committed to Alabama on March the 19th. So that was a little ways back. And transfers from Pepperdine, as I was joking about earlier. I'm like, boy, leaving Pepperdine's always a decision when you just step outside the campus and you see the visual that you have, outside the confines there. But 14.7 points per game, shot 42% from three. I mean, it sounds like an Alabama player right there to start with. And so guy comes from California, and now he's headed to Tuscaloosa. And I think, as we're going to see here, when you talk about sort of a theme, maybe with both of these guys, you've got two older players, and as we kind of look at how teams continue to build in the transfer portal, nice for Nate Oats to add two, older guys here. And I think when you look at the way they play, starting with Mallette here, I mean, you just got a guy who can shoot the ball, and that's what you expect when it comes to playing an up-tempo style for Alabama and being able to make shots on the perimeter.
Yeah, and this is I should start this way, I think. You're getting a veteran guy. Like, I say that 3 times because this guy has started 90 games over the past 3 years. Like, he has played a lot of basketball for Pepperdine. He's played the majority of the minutes at the 3, capable of playing the 2 though as well. He's got that 6'5" frame. He's pretty lengthy too. Doesn't have some great defensive numbers, but I think it's that type of kind of like a project. You can see the frame, you can see the length, you can see how he might be able to affect people on the perimeter with his wingspan and stuff like that. So if there's any coach I'm going to trust to get the most out of his guys, it would be Nate Oats here. But he's not coming to Alabama to play defense here, Blake. I mean, he is, but this is an offensive weapon here. Deadly in transition. This guy ranks 10th in the country in pull-up efficiency on all pull-ups per synergy. So anything fast. Oh, wow. I wonder if Nate Oats likes to go a little bit fast on the offensive end. Oh,
I heard he's going to slow it down this year.
Yeah,
I heard they were just going to walk the ball off the floor.
Well, you get one of the top 10 most efficient shooters in pull-up situations. So he's a deadly shooter. Listen to this though, for a little bit of context here. Last year, Mallette had 5 games with 5 or more threes. 5 made 3, not attempted. He had 5 games where he made 5 or more. Sears only did 3. Griffin did 3. Estrada only did 1, and Wrightsell actually had 5 as well. So if you want to put a little bit of context on how good of a volume shooter Houston Mallette is, 5 games last year with 5 or more made threes. He's a sniper, Blake. It's kind of the Nate Oats special here in the portal now.
Yeah, I think you mentioned it. It's always the value of how many minutes you've played, and it's just seeing how efficient and productive can you be in those minutes. And I mean, again, this is someone, as you said, I mean, he's played 32 minutes a game or more for 3 straight seasons, and it's also not like he was sort of one of the guys like right on that team, because I mean it's kind of interesting to look at like how many shots he averaged per game. Like every single season he basically averaged 11 shots per game, and so that's one of those things too where like this isn't going to be something where all of a sudden he's got to step up and be way more than he was at Pepperdine. Like, this is going to be a situation now where he's comfortable. If he needs to step up and make shots and shoot that many shots, like, he can. And I think that's, when you just look at the way these guys, again, can adapt in Nate Oats' system. I mean, we've just seen it time after time where you see guys like this. On paper, you look at him and say, all right, that looks like a Nate Oats guy. Guard guy who is older, can make threes, can get up and down the floor. All makes sense. And I think at this point, it's sort of like you give Nate Oats the benefit of the doubt that he'll find a way to plug him in, make him be someone who, like you said, he's a sniper. And that's going to be great for Alabama because that's what Alabama likes to do. And I think it's just the guy that's played a lot of basketball, as you said. It's just, what's not to be excited about when you have someone who has this proven level of production and has just played a lot of basketball. So,
and one more thing on Mallette too, I didn't really even notice this. Like, it just clicked now as we're recording. The last time Nate Oats tried to bring over a nice 35+% 3-point shooter from the West Coast. I think it was I think it was Latrell Wrightsell. Man, almost like that worked out pretty well. Yeah, guys, he shot 43% in WCC play last year from 3.
Well, that's important too. WCC, like, it's not, Yeah. That's good basketball. So I think you're not talking about someone that's necessarily just coming from, I don't know. I don't want to, throw a conference under the bus or anything, but it's one of the higher tier conferences out there if you're going to call it a mid-major thing, because Gonzaga's in there, St. Mary's in there. San Francisco's had some success. Santa Clara had a good season. Teams like that. So, yeah, like, it's not like he's just been playing against nobodies, right? And so he's played against quality competition when you're playing teams like that twice a season. So, yeah, I think that's also important to note here, just where he comes from. So I think that's really important. But another guy who will be making his way to Alabama, Chris Youngblood, who is not young. He is an older guy, and he comes over. I got to get my jokes in somewhere.
That was good.
From USF, played for Amir Abdur-Rahim there twice, actually. Played for him at Kennesaw State, followed him to USF. Now he comes to Alabama, and he is from Tuscaloosa. Of course, that's noteworthy here. 15.3 points per game for, again, a team that, South Florida, a good team. And I think that's just as important here when you look at it from that standpoint. But, the accolades, I'm looking here on the list that you've got, Max. It's like we may need 5 minutes just to list off this guy's accolades because he's the AAC Co-Player of the Year with John L. Davis at FAU, nice company to be in. He was the A-Sun first team. Of course, Kennesaw State had a drastic turnaround under Amir Abdur-Rahim. Youngblood obviously played a role in that. Mid-Major Player of the Year finalist year before last as well. He was in the A-Sun All-Freshman team in 21. So, once again, here's a guy who has proven year after year that he can hang with the big boys, right? And so I think that he's another interesting addition here and another older addition to this Alabama roster.
Yes, that's what I'm glad you ended with that. Yeah, we get a senior with Mallette. We get a graduate senior with Youngblood here. Getting older and getting older fast. You can tell there's a method to the madness here for Oats in the portal this offseason with what he's trying to get. That's what those accolades, Blake, the reason I listed them out is because it's not like he just, was mid-major. He was good. He's worked up, and then he just blows up here at South Florida. No. This guy was all freshman team. This guy was mid-major player of the year finalist. This guy was A-Sun first team, AAC first team, AAC co-player. Every single year, this guy is just getting better and better and better. And it's because, shocker, this guy is as pure of a shooter as you can get. Sometimes when you're looking at the shooters and you're looking at percentages and stuff like that, we'll see like, well, he was 35% 3 years ago, then 38, and then this last year he was 42 or something like that, and we'll call him a 40% 3-point shooter. Don't need to do that with Chris Youngblood here. 40% or better for 3 straight years. O rating of 116 or better, 3 straight years. This guy is as pure as a shooter as it gets. As good as we were just talking about Mallette, I think Youngblood can shoot it even better, Blake.
Well, you know what else I like about him and he was not on that Kennesaw. I don't think he was. Yeah, so he wasn't on that Kennesaw State team that went 1-28 back in, what was it, 1920. Not 1920 the year, 19 and 20. I want to make that very clear. He's not that old, okay? He wasn't playing back in 1920. But he was on that Kennesaw State team the following year. So the 2021 season, where they go 5-19, they're 2-3 in the conference. Now think about this, right? Like, think about if you're experiencing something like that, how easy it would be just to be like, all right, I'm out of here. Like, I'm not doing this. No, he stays. The next year, improvement, but like they're still 13-18. So they go 13-18 the next year, 7-9 in the conference. But then that's what we said, that drastic turnaround, 22-23, where Kennesaw State goes 26-9. They get to the NCAA tournament. Keep in mind they almost beat Xavier in the first round. He had a good game there. He had, I think it was, what was it? Let me find the number here. 14 points in that one. Played 34 minutes. Which was tied for a team high in that game against the Musketeers. And so there's a guy who stuck with it. He stayed there, and he battled through a lot of adversity, like with his team just losing a lot of games. And I like that about it, And then, of course, he went over to South Florida. The turnaround they had at Kennesaw State in that final year that Amir Abdur-Rahim was there, they do the same thing at South Florida, 25-8. They go 16-2 in the AAC. And, again, look at the role he played on that team. And, I mean, it's just I really like this guy. Like, I think he's someone that is going to add a lot because he's seen he's worked his way to the top, right? You think about it. I mean, again, Kennesaw State was one of the worst programs out there. They made that turnaround, and now he's worked his way all the way up here. He played for a champion at Kennesaw State. He played, for a team at South Florida. Didn't they? Yeah, they won the regular season title in the AAC. So back-to-back playing for champions, and now he goes and gets to play for Alabama. Hey, I think this guy will be great there.
Yeah, I probably should have been even a little bit more excited when I first started talking about Youngblood. I think this is like you have a starter here. And now I don't come at me if he's not a starter because Latrell Wrightsell, what did he play? Over 20 minutes, didn't start. I think this is Youngblood is going to make an instant impact, put it that way. And the reason why is not just because he's an insane shooter. I also forgot to mention he's 90th percentile in catch and shoot situations where that Nate Oats just absolutely loves to see that. This is why I think Youngblood is going to be so good. This guy is 6'4", but he is 220 pounds. Okay? This guy is built like a rock. He's built like a linebacker. For reference on that 220 pounds for being a guard, Mark Sears is 185 pounds. Aaron Estrada was 190. Rylan Griffin was 190. Latrell Wrightsell was 190. Add on 30 pounds of muscle, and you get Chris Youngblood. If he didn't have such a high 3-point rate, the bully ball committee would be looking at an early Chris Youngblood watch list here. I'm telling you, watch this guy's highlight. He's a pure catch and shoot. Takes like 2 milliseconds for the ball to get out of his hands, but he is built like a rock. I really like him. He's ranked top 25 in both the past 2 years in his conference, if it was an AAC play or A-Sun play, in fouls drawn per 40 minutes. So the guy is not afraid of contact. I like Chris Youngblood, Blake. I'm liking him a lot.
Yeah, here's another interesting stat we can finish on here. So he said he's played 4 seasons. He's averaged 30 minutes a game in every season he's played in. I'm pretty sure, based on what I'm seeing in front of me here, now don't hold me to this, but I'm fairly certain as I look at this, he has only missed 1 game in his entire college career, having played that many games. So if you add up all the numbers, he's played, I don't even know what that is, 33 plus 35 plus 30 plus 24. He's only missed 1 game, and that was against Jacksonville in 2022. Yeah, like, my goodness, that's incredible.
He hasn't missed a game in 2 years?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at it on KenPom. Like, there's only one, in his entire career, there's only 1 game that says did not play. Only 1. So, I mean, this guy is just as solid and consistent as it gets. Yep. So, and I'll give you this other factoid here if you want to end on this one. KenPom always does the comparison, like the similar profile to other players, right? We like that. Chris Youngblood in 2024, you don't know who he was similar to? Chris Youngblood in 2023. I love it because that means consistency. Consistency. He's the same player. Like, this guy is doing the same stuff. So I love that. You don't see that often based on looking at like the KenPom similar profiles. But yeah, similar. The third one on the list, Chris Youngblood, 2023. So incredible. This guy may have just become our new favorite player.
I know. I'm saying I was just going to end with, I'm taking nothing away from Houston Mallette. I think you're going to be great also. I love this guy, Chris Youngblood.
We'll see how it pans out. Of course, we'll be covering every SEC basketball transfer here at Southeastern 14, even some a month late. We won't be a month late this time around, but that was because
we're
when that one fell. Yeah, so hit that subscribe button on your way out. Check out all of our SEC baseball and football stuff as well. We appreciate you guys watching, as always, and we'll talk to you again here soon at Southeastern 14.